Hey gang, it's Mr. D. In this video, we're going to talk about the symbols on a weather chart. The symbols, okay? And this is what we're looking at today is sort of a basic what the symbols are. Okay, in future videos, we'll take a look at a little bit more complicated per se ones. All right, so we'll get into that later. All right, so our first symbol are the H's and the L's. Okay, well, we just explained on the surface map an H is what type of weather mass? L is what type of weather mass? Very good. High, low. Okay, good. All right, the lines. You see the line here with purple. You see a line here that's red. You see a line here that's blue. What do all those mean? Okay. The purple lines and symbols mean this is a occluded air mass. So it's moving in a west to east direction, and it's part of a longer, well, I'm going to use a heavy word, synoptic front. Okay, in this case, it's attached to this guy, the low pressure system. And we talked about in the surface map that low pressures generally bring what type of weather? Right. Um, could be severe weather, could be rain, could be snow, could be other types and forms of weather, but it usually brings turbulent weather. Okay. The blue on the map are blues with the little triangles there, little half disc. Um, that is our cold air mass. So the cold is moving from the north to the south. The temperatures behind the front are cool. The temperatures in front are warm. So that warm air is going to be replaced by the cooler cold front that's moving towards an area. And sometimes that can cause turbulent weather, but usually it's just you don't really see a big change. It just happens. You'll get windy, gusty conditions for a few hours, and then it'll be gone because that means the front has settled in. The red circles that you see here mean the opposite of a cold front. So this is a warm front. A warm front is warm air is moving to an area of cooler or colder air, depending, again, on the type of season. Warm fronts are a little different. You can get more turbulent weather with warm fronts replacing the cold air because cold air is denser, so warm air has a tougher time replacing it. So they kind of, I would say, battle. Okay. And if the cold air is displaced, which usually will be, there has to be some type of weather that occurs, rain, thunderstorm in the spring, summer, whatever. It could, a warm front sometimes with a place that's very, very cold because it moistens the air will generate snow. So, it usually ignites something at the surface, as we say. Warmer air is easier to displace than colder air. So when a cold front comes in, it just goes right in underneath it, lifts it up, and the warm air has nowhere to go. It just dissipates because the air that it goes into is usually dry because the colder air brings in cooler and drier air. Sometimes on a map you'll see these these are called wind barbs. Okay. The wind barbs are very important because they're another piece to the puzzle that tell us what's going on in an area. Okay. These wind barbs are directional, meaning they show you a direction where the wind is coming from and going to. So let's pick this one because this is easy. Okay, we have this wind bar that's colored in blue. It's long, elongated. It has a couple of slashes by that. Okay, but it's straight down. It's pointing straight down towards Mexico. All right, or straight down in Texas. So that means the air is coming from the south. It's going to the north. Now, I don't know about you, but I haven't been to Mexico many times. But what does air from Mexico usually feel like? Very warm, very dry, and that's pushing into the area. Okay, and that can bring up temperatures that can ignite more thunderstorms and thunder showers depending on where it is. So it's important we know the wind direction. This barb over here, this guy is coming. His wind barb is pointed a little bit towards. It's angled a little bit towards the right. Okay, it's further east. So our last one was south. This one's a little southeast. So there's a little shift here, and that's because of something else, which I'm going to talk about in another video. And it's right here, dry line. I'm not going to get into that yet. All right. Where's another different type of if you see this has kind of, it looks like an H in the middle. No, it's not a hurricane. It just means that the wind, it's calm. The winds are calm in this area. So there's no wind direction, there's no wind speed. It's just kind of still. Oh boy, let's see. Okay, well, being it's on here, this line with the brown, it looks like brownish with little half circles on it. It goes all the way down here into Texas. That's a dry line. A dry line is not a front. It acts as though it is a low, but it's not a front. A dry line causes air mass behind it to dry out and also increase in temperature, while in front of it, there is really moist, humid air, and it's going to push that out. It's got to push that out. And usually you get very turbulent weather with that because now you have a dry line, you have a warm front, you have a cold front to the north. You have a lot of boundary and air masses here. And anytime you have boundaries and anytime you have an air mass and it's collected into one area, you can get pretty turbulent weather. Let's see if there's any wind direction that's different. Okay, up here this is way up. This is in Canada. We have air that's coming from almost due west. Well, that's because here we have this system is coming into the Pacific Northwest. So that's pushing, and you can see the wind barbs. They're all kind of going in that general direction. So this is going west. So you have to know your cardinal directions. You have to know your intermediate directions. And again, we'll be doing some exercises with this later. All right, this is Mr. D, Delaware Weather Guy, saying, what am I saying? I'm saying adios.